What's going on, guys? So obviously from the thumbnail and from the title, I got an intake finally for the charger and we're gonna unbox it right now. Let's get this thing unboxed and see what we got. I decided to go with a JLT CAI2 DH5711 is the official part number for anyone else that wants to know. All right, so we got the 90, rubber 90. I guess is a good, this is also a good inventory for anyone else who's getting this part that's doing this install. Good checklist. Ooh, they give us a sticker. That's gonna add 5 horsepower right there. We got the hose clamps. Ooh, directions. Honestly, I love when a company actually gives you directions. I mean, this is not a crazy install, obviously, but you know, little things here and there might not, you know, fit properly. They might have to give you a little adjustment. We got the hose right here, 2020. That's not me. This one must be for me. Beautiful. Hose clamps, 2 different sizes, obviously. Perfect. She's honestly gonna be breathing so much better with this thing. I'm very excited to obviously see how this thing fits and see how, you know, how much better this thing sounds, how much better it breathes. Obviously, I don't have a tune on the car yet, but I will eventually. So I'm hoping with the tune, with the exhaust, that she'll be, you know, performing a little bit better. I'm not expecting huge power gains, but definitely getting her to breathe better. This thing is, I don't even know. I would say this is at least, maybe just from looking at it right now, I would say this is almost 1.5 inches wider on this end than the stock airbox tube. And obviously the one from the factory has all the ripples, you know, the little boot there too as well. So that's causing, you know, airflow restrictions. This is gonna breathe so much better, nice smooth all the way through, right there. Beautiful. And from the website, this said it was like, you know, plug and play. You're using like one old, you know, part that's going back in there, I believe. Rubber grommet from the stock airbox. All right, so that's staying, and use stock bolt install. Oh yeah, so you're honestly keeping a couple of old things from the car. This thing is supposed to just pop right in, supposedly, but we'll see. Here's the main box right here. The new heat shield. Obviously, it's not really a box anymore. It's not really an enclosure. I didn't even see any pictures online from this angle, and the fact that it actually has this opening that's right there, so it's gonna be pulling in air from this way and rammed right into the front. This thing's gonna get so much more air coming in, and I'm really excited to hear how this thing sounds. I'm basically gonna be doing an install and review, and honestly a comparison too. I'm gonna put some revving videos later and some just exhaust videos so you guys can hear the difference between the stock airbox and the 5.7 compared to the JLT intake once it's installed. Oh yeah. Look at the size of this thing. I'm really excited to see how much more of a growl. People were saying they got like immediate noticeable power gains. I don't know how much I'm expecting that, but you know, anything is something. I'm very excited to see how this thing sounds when it's actually pulling in air, especially at wide open throttle. I mean, this thing already kind of has like a little bit of whine when I'm really getting into it. That's huge. Wow. Stop and read first. Okay, awesome. Well, keep watching for the install. All right, let's start this install finally, because I've been dying to put this thing in all week. I'm gonna start with taking off the airbox, the stock airbox right now. It's just one bolt right here. Using a 5/16 or an 8mm. It says on the directions, literally just that bolt right here. And then there's the hose right here in the back. We can undo that. That out of the way. Pretty sure this is going to be going to the new hose right here, so I'm going to leave this right where it is, and then just loosen the clamps. That dude, this out of the way. Easiest part. And then take the sensor out, the clip I should say, and boom, this dude off, this dude's out. And honestly, that's literally it. Just a bolt right here, loosen the clamp, unplug the sensor. This is gonna have to come out obviously because we're saving the sensor. All right, so I did get the sensor out right here, but I did have to pry a little bit to bring it up because there's a little lip. You guys will find if you're doing this. I did have to take this little pry tool to kind of pop this up to really get it around over this little ridge right here. But once I did that, it just twisted, popped right out, just a heads up. Then the next thing in the directions say to take the coolant bolts right here and loosen them to actually push the coolant tank back a little bit, but I want to see how the box actually fits onto the car first. So it does say to also take the rubber grommet off of the stock airbox and put it in this little hole here. So we're gonna take this right here, take this guy off. That just pops right in. Shouldn't have to use anything else off of this stock airbox. Everything else is gonna be basically, you know, I guess kept as a spare. I am gonna throw the sensor back into the 90 right here, just to make sure that it's gonna be all set. Pop this through. So there really isn't, this just sits right here, I guess. Let's just see how this thing fits without having to move the coolant box. Oh yeah, yeah, you're definitely gonna have to scoot this back a little bit. So yeah, I will loosen up the 10mm. Really can't go far back. Really not much space for it to go. All right, push that as far back as I could right here. Sorry, the sun's right in my face if I'm squinting a little bit. All right, let's get this guy in. All right, so I got the box in. It is a little bit of a snug fit. I mean, I would even recommend, if you guys want to for next time, I would have probably just moved the coolant, like, you know, pulled it up and actually taken the things all the way out. But I got it in. It is very snug. It's not a perfect fit. I mean, the rubber grommet and the little tab that's on the back of the box does fit in right in with it, but I'm gonna have to kind of pull this thing out. I will have to pull it out a little bit to get the bolt in. Nice. Sun's finally going down a little bit so I can see. Clamps. Get this dude on here. So right here for the clamps, I'm using the 5/16, just tightening the little bands here, getting them on there just to get them ready for the throttle body. Side, this dude is gonna go on this. Dude's on there. This guy's gonna get fed right onto this. This honestly is plug and play. Besides the box not fitting perfectly, it really is a very simple, quick install. This dude's gonna get threaded, or not threaded, you know, clamped right onto here. So you can get this guy on. Okay, there we go. Just a little bit of elbow grease, beautiful. Let's see how we want to have this thing fit. So we want this to kind of come in right here. I'm gonna twist this just a little bit. There we go. So it's gonna come in right here. I'm gonna throw the filter on, honestly, just that way everything's fit right up. Put the filter on. See how we want to orientate it. All right, so I'm just gonna tighten the clamp on this right here too. This guy's tight, or at least pushed in all the way. All right, that is nice and tight. This is gonna come right into here. Honestly, this could even go right to it. But I mean, they give us the extension here if you need it. I don't really want to stretch that hose out too much, so I might just leave it on there. And turn this clamp this way so I can actually get to it. Tighten this guy down. All right, that guy's tight. Might as well put this guy on here. Thread this dude on. Okay. Surprised that doesn't sit on tighter. Plug the sensor back in. I honestly don't like how much play is in the sensor, so I'm gonna pop this thing through. All right, so I do want to mention one thing. I did actually end up getting that little tab through the sensor right here. I did modify it just a little bit. I took a knife and just kind of like slightly widen the hole just a little bit to kind of pinch this and twist it down so that she sits here. Now this is sitting much more like flat in this rather than being sitting above it and being able to have a lot of play. This is just being able to, you know, it's snug. It has a little bit of movement, but like once it's plugged in, I might eventually, you know, try to like make sure this is more stiff. But for right now, this is good until I find another solution, but it is actually sitting flat on it rather than being able to, you know, wiggle around. So now it's time to actually get this thing in. I'm still debating whether or not to take this off and just have the hose run directly to this, but let's just fit this back on here, plug this in and see where this thing is gonna sit. We're all the way on, throttle body here, sitting up nice, JLT's pointing out. This dude's gonna get plugged right in here, but I'm just afraid of this popping off from vibration. The way that this is sitting, the hose is just kind of sitting up in the air. I don't know if I like it like that. Plug this dude back in. This is all set here. This is tight. So honestly, the only thing that I can see a problem with is I really don't like how much this extension for the hose is like really loose. There's no little clamp for this one. And the only thing is the stock little tube that comes to your air box here, it's just gonna stretch too much. With this kind of kit right here, it's gonna stretch the hose too much, and I don't want it coming right into there, so it's probably better off to have a little bit of play on it, because you know, the car is vibrating, but I just want to make sure that this isn't going to kind of come off. You know what I'm saying, guys? I might get a clamp eventually just to put around this one to kind of just really secure it down to this this little tab, this little nipple right here that's on this intake actual tube here. So, but honestly, that's it, guys. That's the whole install. Throttle body's tight, sensors back in. This is right here. The box is in. All I got to do is tighten the box down, and that's literally it. Like I said, this is gonna have to do a little bit of stretching on the box. Make sure I'm in the hole here. So I am in. The box just barely has to be kind of pulled out just to kind of fit in snugly. And we'll also see how the hood closes on it. All right, this isn't jammed up against the coolant tank. This is fit in here. The only thing is to start it up and hear how it sounds now that it's on. I'm honestly very excited to hear the vacuum sound. I heard a lot in the reviews that there was some really sweet vacuum sound. We'll see how that sounds. We'll see what happens with that. First question is, let's see how the hood actually closes on here before I go start it up. Well, that's good. Hood closes. Sweet. Now let's hear how this thing frickin' sounds. Ugh. All right. I'll let her warm up for a second. A lot of vibration. I mean, that's a given. All right, I'm gonna give this thing a couple revs and see how this thing sounds after the JLT Cold Air Intake Series 2, number 2, whatever they call it on the website. I can hear the vacuum sound a little bit more. It's not as much as I was expecting, but it's definitely there. I'll be interested to see how this thing sounds at cruising speed and wide open throttle. But until I have a tune, not everything's gonna be flowing as much as it could be. Really quick and easy install, honestly. So honestly, just being right here, I didn't really hear that much of a difference. Just even sitting at idle and revving it up, it didn't have a massive sound difference. I was expecting more of like a nice hollow vacuum, but again, I haven't really got on it that much to really like, you know, open it wide open. You can certainly feel, I don't know, just I would say less restriction as the car's driving, just down the street. So I actually did just take the car for a test drive. I wanted to see right now, really, you know, how much difference in the sound it was, and if I noticed any kind of immediate gains. I know it's very, very minimal, if at all, but I really expected something because of the fact that there's a massive hole in the front of the box just ramming air right in, and it's pulling from underneath. I will say I definitely did notice a difference immediately winding out the throttle. Huge vacuum noise, which was obviously a hope of mine because I love that sound. I don't know about anyone else, but I do love the sound of that vacuum pulling in the air. I do believe it might take a little bit for the mass airflow sensor to really adjust or to really mix everything properly, but Definitely, I would recommend this product to anyone that's looking to buy it. I mean, it just the sound alone, I mean, and the look itself too, definitely gives you a nice little cleaner engine bay. Hope you guys like this video. If you guys did enjoy watching this video and you like the install, please don't forget to drop a like. It means a lot to me, it'll mean a lot to the channel, and it will help this video spread to anyone else that wants to see how to put these things in. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're not subscribed already, don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.